Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insight. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Chew Effin Lee.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chew. Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, episode number 17. Today I want to talk about past life regression. But before I do that, I just want to bring something to all of your attention. Maybe you guys have already seen this video. I saw this video on one of my Facebook posts. Somebody put it up, I can't remember who. But it showed some of these, like some Hmong girls in a village in, I think, China or Vietnam maybe. They were being kidnapped to become a bride. And what was very disturbing for me was to see the fear in the eyes of these women. I don't even think they're women. I think they're just little girls, probably teens. And when I saw how some of these men, maybe just boys, teenagers, come and drag her away, pull her out of her mom's arms, and while she's kicking, fighting, punching, pushing the males away. And the males, they were just having a great old time. You know, they were just smiling, laughing, thinking it was a joke. While the girl is scared to death. I don't think it happens much here in this country, in America. I remember when I was probably in high school, a friend of mine, she was kidnapped, but not in that way. They didn't have to drag her or you know, have like three males pushing her into the car, but she got tricked. The guy told her, I'm just going to take you to the store, and then she ended up going into a different state. So again, I don't think it happens here in this country anymore, but I get it that maybe in some countries that's custom to them. But when you think about the human life, the girl that was being dragged away by these men, you can just tell that, you can just see the fear in her eyes and her face expression. She's just looking like, you know, where am I going? What's going to happen to me? Although we kind of know how the ending of these bride kidnapping methods, you know, turn out, you know, she's going to get married to a guy, maybe a complete stranger. But even if they have a good life at the end, which in those cases, even though I don't approve of how it starts, like how that marriage starts, I would imagine that, or I would not imagine, but I would hope that the marriage lasts. But just think about if it was you who was forced to marry somebody in that way. I mean, in our culture, there's other ways to, you know, get married through force, such as, you know, if you stay out with your boyfriend too long and your parents find out and they're not happy, then you might still have to marry that person. And believe it or not, recently one of my distant relatives, she was in that situation and she ended up marrying the guy. So it still happens here and there when we talk about forced marriage. But going back to that video, I did not see any joy, any entertainment in it, even though I watched the whole thing. The longer I watched the video, the more heartbreak I felt, because just trying to, you know, let it play out in my head, if I was that person who was being kidnapped, you know, the thought of today, my life is going to be totally different, and I'm going to be living with some people that I've never ever met, and I have to make that adjustment. It's not, I would imagine it's not a fun thing to be thinking about. So I wonder if you guys have seen that video. Maybe some of you have, but let me know what you guys think. You can drop a comment or email me and tell me what your thoughts are about how that still happens. And again, I want to make it clear that in some countries or some regions of the world, it happens that way, and it might be accepted in those regions, and I'm not one to say that's right or wrong. To me, again, it was just very disturbing to watch. You know, if that's how they want to live their life and that's how they marry people, great. But if it happens in this country, And I mean, I kind of look at it more like this. If you really want a girl that bad and you want to kidnap her to make her your bride, how do you really know that girl's going to love you genuinely? I mean, I think that girl's going to have to learn to love you to some degree, even if I don't even think it's something you can learn, but you probably have to live with it. And knowing that as a guy who let's say that I was the guy to kidnap a girl, how could I live with myself knowing she never really loved me and never liked me, but I want her that bad to kidnap her? It's just a bad situation all around, in my opinion. But if that's how it works, and if people still do that and they're okay with it, more power to them. But if it should ever happen to any of my close family members who are females, where they're kidnapped in this country, trust me, I will be calling 911 for sure, for sure. Alright, anyway, past life regressions. Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. The question would be, is it worth doing a past life regression? Well, I've posted this up a long time ago on the empowerment page, and there were some discussions back and forth about the benefits of it. For me, I would totally suggest that if you guys have not done a past life regression, I would totally recommend it. Now, the thing about past life regression is you can't control which life you tap into. At least I'm not aware of any people who can help or who does past life regression if they can zone in on a specific time that you once lived. But I think it's just, you know, they put you in that hypnosis stage, and then it just comes to you. Well, at least that's what happened to me. So when I did my past life regression, it helped me understand who I am today, why I am the way I am, and why I think the way I think about things. If you ever do a past life regression, it might help you out in that way to understand why you are the way you are today. So that's why I suggest and I recommend you guys giving it a shot, because I found it to be very helpful. Now I'll share with you about my past life regression. So this lady, she did a past life regression on me, and the timeline that I went back to was very, very ancient. And when I reached that lifetime, I was a general in an army. I was Japanese or something. It was for sure Asian. I was a general at the time. I was almost like a samurai general. In my present lifetime, I have little interest in samurai, you know, samurai movies or anything samurai. But when I went to that lifetime, I was a general in the army, and I remember seeing myself being alone in the mountains, just questioning why I am killing people. I didn't believe in the mission, but because I was a general and, you know, I had to obey my emperor, so I had to really carry out the mission. But I was struggling with that mission while I was in the mountain. So I decided to go ahead and follow through with the mission because of my loyalty and my position in the army. And I went through with the mission. We were going to go attack a village, and when we went to the village, it was very different. It felt very different, like it was a setup. We were going into a trap, and so I was on a horse, and we went into a barn. So my soldiers were around me, but they went to look at other barns and huts, but I think there was like 2 or 3 guys with me. And so we entered this barn with our horses, and I remember just looking around, knowing that this doesn't feel right. Something bad is about to happen. So as we went deeper into the barn, we got ambushed. You know, the villagers, they popped out of nowhere, and they just started stabbing us with spears, and I remember falling off my horse, and then that was it. Blank. I wasn't emotional or upset, but it was more like, wow, I can't believe I actually went back in time and relived that for a moment. So when I think about how that makes sense of how I am today, think about the characteristics of a general, which applies to some of my characteristics today. I have this loyalty issue. People who feed me, such as folks who give me a job, give me an opportunity that has increased my quality of life, I have this loyalty issue with those folks. And when I mean loyalty, I mean I can't seem to just not think of them anymore or go away and work for somebody else. I tend to want to just stay with that person because I appreciate what they have given me as far as opportunities to have a better quality of life. Now, there's people out there who have no gratitude towards people who feed them. But for me, in this lifetime, like when somebody feeds me, whether it's through money, job, or just food, I have this loyalty thing with them where it's very difficult for me to go somewhere else to be fed or to be hired. And I see how that can be a positive thing and a negative thing, because and this has happened to me before too, where when there's an opportunity for a better job, a better pay increase, it's very difficult for me to accept that job, the new job or the new opportunity, because again I think about, I can't just leave this person. They fed me, they gave me a job, and I'm very thankful and grateful for it. That was how I connected and related to the generals. And then another thing was just the way I carried myself in that lifetime, where I was very well respected. A lot of people that I meet, they see that I can be a jokester. Yes, I laugh at dirty jokes, I tell dirty jokes, things like that, right? That's the human piece, part of me. But I'm a serious person too. So when people come to me for things, it's because they have trust in me that I'll help them get it done. And that's a characteristic that I think a lot of people, even myself, when I see those characteristics in others, I really respect those people. And so I try to lead by example. Another characteristic that I connected to that general was I was fighting for something that I didn't believe in. Now, in this lifetime, for example, the Hmong culture. Some of you might not like what I'm about to say, but it's me, okay? There are a lot of things about the Hmong culture that I disagree with, and I have like a very, very strong bias against it. The whole thing about trying to be a clan leader, I'm not interested in that at all, not one bit. And when I see my elders do things that are wrong, I'm not shy to let them know you shouldn't be doing that. So that was another connection I had with that lifetime, with that general samurai. Another connection I recall was how I died very young. And when I look at this lifetime, like, I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die. I love my kids, I love my wife, I love them so much. I just don't want to do anything but just spend as much time as I can with them. Even if we don't do stuff together in the house, just having them in the house, maybe they could be in their room, but just knowing that they're in the house with me, to me that's a great feeling as a father. So when I think about me being a general samurai, I mean, it took me away from my family. I was fighting for something that cost me my life, and I didn't get a chance to be a family guy, I guess, if you want to call it that. So it helped me really understand how I am today. Now, if I did another past life regression, I may or may not go back to that lifetime as a general in the army. It could be something totally different. I might have been a woman or a mother, I don't know. But for that past life regression session, it really helped me put pieces together as far as some of my characteristics today. So I'm sure it'll be helpful for you guys too, if you guys know someone out there who can do a past life regression. And again, I totally recommend it. I don't think it's going to do any harm to anyone. It just helps you understand a lot more about yourself in this lifetime. So If you guys ever do one or have done one, please let me know how the experience was. I'd be very interested in hearing your story. Now, past life regression, I know some people don't believe in that, like in reincarnation. And I talked about universal phenomenon in an episode a while ago. Reincarnation and past life memories is a universal phenomenon. People from all corners of the world, you hear stories from different cultural groups. They share stories about, they remember a glimpse of their past life, how they died, why they died. Get one done if you can, okay? And let me know how it goes. So that's it for this episode. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.